Welcome back to Mulberry Branch Farm, y'all. It's Ashley here again, and today we had a predator in our field. The first time ever that we've come out and found a coyote in our goat pen. And that guy back there did a fantastic job, by the way. So I'm getting ready to roll the footage, but I'm actually out here trying to see what I can see. That's fine. This thing is not even afraid. Not even afraid. You hit him. He's back in that. He went right through a hole back there. We've never had a coyote in our field. Like, not that we've ever laid eyes on. And this is the third time the guy's come back in 30 minutes. So Mark just sent off a round at him. It looked like he hit him, so we're gonna go check for blood. Sorry guys, like the adrenaline is really pumping. Just hope we find blood. Because when a dog is that driven to come back, I've chased him off, the llama chased him off, Mark came out and was like, he's 25 feet away from our new buck. My buck was just looking at him through the fence, and not even 5 minutes later, he's circled back around to the back of our field back here in the corner and come in, and Mark was able to get a shot off, but I know exactly why this animal's coming in here, and I'm gonna let you guys know here in a minute. So this coyote was over here by the round pen, and I know exactly why the thing came back. That's where I buried Bojangles, and I noticed about 2 days ago that there were animals digging her up, and that smell attracts predators, obviously, and not to mention it's the season where they're starting to have their litters of pups, so they're hungry, they're out trying to forage food. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull in our bucks, and lesson learned, I will never bury a goat in my goat field ever again, because when animals dig it up, it lets out a scent. That's what I get for being sentimental sometimes in a thing where you don't get that luxury to be sentimental sometimes. So the next goat that passes, no matter if they're the best goat in the world, they'll be dragged back to the carcass pile where everybody else goes. So alright, so I'm back here now where the coyote jumped the fence after Mark shot it, and I'm armed and I'm trying to figure out if it went down and if I can pick up a blood trail. That's just about the only bad thing about the gun that we picked up for this was it was a .223, a full metal jacket bullet, so if anything it went in and straight out and maybe would leave like pinpricks of blood. So, and it's been raining, so the odds of me finding anything are slim to none, but I'm hoping that at least by like going up and down this fence line that I'm leaving a scent, and that might be enough to deter. I doubt it will. I know I'm gonna have to go and pick up all of Bojo's remains that are spread out, put them in a wheelbarrow and take them to the back of the field. They can exist. I have no problems with coyotes being close to my property. I have problems with them being in my goat field. I haven't been able to find blood. I haven't been able to find tracks. I find a lot of deer tracks, which makes me happy for hunting season, but I'm not finding a whole lot of coyote tracks, which you can tell, like there's a path down through here, so super easy travel corridor for deer and coyotes, but I'm just hoping to find a dead coyote somewhere out here. Apparently I have a trusty hunting cat. He's followed me all the way back here. trusty hunting cat. Alright guys, so I didn't find anything out there, so now I've just got a bucket and an old shavings bag, and I'm going to go back here and I'm going to be picking up bones and anything that I can find out here that would be a draw for a predator. So we've never had a coyote in our pen, and I just have to write it off to I was stupid thinking that I was going to bury a goat in the pen and not draw in something. So this is totally on me. I feel bad that we had to do what we had to do, but these guys behind me are just, they're important. They're like my kids. Haha, play on words there, guys. But I would do anything to protect them, so, and sometimes that doing anything to protect them means dispatching another animal. So now that we've picked up all of the bones, which you guys can see, I do have a lovely bucket full right there. They stink to high heaven. I wish I would have worn gloves, but you know what, at this point in quarantine, I'm an expert at hand washing and hand sanitizing, so I'm not too concerned about that. I'm hoping that by removing these bones and the smell that they're producing, that I'm removing the draw for this coyote to come in. Because he didn't really seem very interested in the goats yet. Who's not to say that he comes to visit for these leftovers and then realizes there are young animals in here. There's a lot to drive them to put pressure on my herd. There's also a very high population of rabbits around my garden. Go figure. So I'm hoping by removing that we're gonna do a good job. Alright guys, it's been a few days since we've seen a coyote anywhere near the property or in our goat fence. When all of that went down, that was Wednesday. Raven was getting ready to go into active labor, and that's why we were kind of really wanting to make sure to go look to see if we could recover or track any type of blood or fur or anything like that. And while you guys were with me, and you know just as well as I do that I didn't find any blood or hair. However, it's been about 4 days and he still hasn't returned, and with as driven as that dog was to come back 3 times in less than 30 minutes with being run at, I ran at it, I yelled at it, clapped my hands, did all the things to scare off wild animals. It just stood there and looked at me, so I went and got a .22 pistol, fired off 2 rounds at it just to scare it, because I know I wasn't going to be able to hit it that far away with a pistol. It ran off, jumped my 5-foot wire fence. Mark went out here and saw that it was just kind of chilling out behind our buck pen. It wasn't afraid, guys. It was very driven to come back. The llama chased it off, Mark being out here chased it off, and then finally it came back into our goat pen through the back way. It jumped over a fence to get in. That's when we decided that it was time to dispatch the animal. While based off of that footage, it may not have looked like Mark hit it. I didn't want to film the bullet making contact with a coyote because of YouTube. I don't know how YouTube's going to feel about it. I don't want to do anything that YouTube is going to dislike, even though we are a small channel, so that's why I just kind of zoomed in on Mark and not the animal. But I watched that animal and when the bullet made contact, and I'm telling you right now that Mark absolutely made a really good hit with it. So we went looking for it, we went to go track it, no blood, no fur. Well, if he hit it, why is there no blood and no fur? And the answer to that question is actually very simple. This is the answer right here. The type of caliber that he used, which my husband is a fantastic marksman, stays cool in like the most stressful situations. But that morning at 6:45 in the morning, I came busting in the house screaming, "There's a coyote in the field." I grabbed a .22 pistol. He went downstairs and just grabbed the first rifle that was in the safe. So that's what he grabbed. There are a lot of other different calibers that we would much rather have shot with that have that knockdown power. But when you're shooting with a caliber that's this small and it's a full metal jacket, which means it's meant to penetrate and go through, it's not meant to penetrate and then break apart or expand through the body like a lot of hunting rounds are. So if any of you are familiar with hunting deer, when you use shotgun slugs, if you use a higher powered rifle, usually you don't use a full metal jacket because it pokes right through and goes straight out. It doesn't leave a big exit wound, so that if you maybe misplace your shot, that you have a chance to track the animal because of the blood that's coming out of the exit wound. This is not like that. This is like armor piercing. It's meant to go through like really tough surfaces and go straight through. And with as hairy as that dog still was for this point in the year, I didn't expect to find blood, especially when he's like, I shot that with a Full Metal Jacket. Like, probably not the best round we wanted to shoot with, but when your adrenaline's going, guys, and you're just trying to react and solve a problem, sometimes like that, high pressure, you don't really stop and think, is this really the caliber and the right gun that I need for the job? So, well, it's been 4 days. We haven't seen anything. Now, I have seen some buzzards in the back portion of our property, and not to say that's a coyote that's decomposing. It could be a multitude of things this time of year. I don't feel as uneasy as I did before, just because that dog was driven. And if it was going to come back again after being shot at, or even if that wasn't a fatally wounding shot, I feel like it still would have come back at dusk, or the next day, or the next day, or the next day. There are food sources here, and it knows it. And if it's hungry enough and it doesn't have access to enough food sources, it'll return. So what does this mean for us? Well, it means I'm checking my fields a lot more often. I'm walking the fence line a lot more often. I'm walking my dogs around the fence line a lot more often, and I'm clearing out things around my fence line that would obstruct my view to be able to see something that's coming from a distance off. So if this problem were to persist, the way that you might want to approach it, especially if you have smaller livestock, well, I have wonderful Gunther right there. He did a fantastic job. He did exactly what I needed him to do. At the end of the day, he's a prey animal. And when push comes to shove and he's cornered, he's going to react like a prey animal, and he will flee. If coyotes were to keep coming back, or if Gunther were to be targeted and hurt, or possibly even killed, because coyotes tend to run in packs. So where there's one coyote, there's probably quite a few more. If that were to happen, we would have to invest in livestock guardian dogs, or higher fencing, or electric fencing. There are a lot of ways that you can approach predator problems, but for right now, I feel like ours are solved when it comes to that coyote. And that's the first coyote we've seen in years, guys. Like, and I absolutely mean, from the moment that we've had llamas, we have not seen any coyotes in or around our field. Not to mention our dogs go all around this property all the time. They're let loose very often. So I'm hoping we took care of it and that we don't have another visit from it. But if we do, then we already have some plans to fortify fencing, livestock guardian dog. But for right now, I think we're good to go. So if you guys have any questions or comments for me about how we deal with predators here, or if you just want to leave your 2 cents, that's what the comment section's for. We love interacting with you guys. Let me know if you have smaller livestock, what do you guys do to deter predators? I know in different regions of the United States, in different continents altogether, we all face different types of predators with different types of abilities, but as homesteaders, or as livestock guardians or caretakers of livestock, we all face the same problems and challenges, and we all approach them in the same way. We want to solve them. So let me know what you think about that. If you found yourself liking the video, go ahead, leave us a like, subscribe. We've always got things going on here, guys. I swear, sometimes I can't film enough of what's going on around our homestead. So if you don't want to miss anything that's going on, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Sadly, there's about a week to 2 weeks of a delay from the moment that I film to when it hits YouTube. So if you want to stay up to date with me, my little family, my little farm, follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll have those links down in the description below. So until next time, guys, thanks for being with us here again. Bye.